Good afternoon. We are back again for an AutoLeap webinar. I'm super excited that you are here with us today. Before I get started and I introduce our guest speaker, as always, we go through a little housekeeping. We are recording this session today. So if you happen to lose your service or the Wi-Fi drops or whatever the case may be, you need to get in the back of the shop, help a customer, please feel free to do so. We will send you this recording afterwards. We're super happy you're here. There will be a survey that goes out after this. So right after I end the webinar, a survey will pop up. It is super important for you to submit what you felt about this webinar, and then give us some feedback on what you want to hear in the future, improvements, any of that. We will send you a $20 Amazon gift card just for your time and appreciation. So again, we are recording this and you will get a recording after that. So without further ado, I am going to introduce you, Vic. Some of you guys know him, and we're super glad to have you here, Vic. A little bit about him. You've been an independent auto repair professional for more than 3 decades, which is impressive. You are the former owner of Vic's Precision Automotive in Texas. Yep. And now you are currently the founder of Shop Owner Coach, which is a coaching and training organization that is not only committed to independent repair shop owners by helping them achieve their dreams. You're just an overall awesome person to be around, and I love our conversations. So this topic today is centered around a purple cow. So I'm not going to go into too much of this, but it's a feel-good one, and it really helps you step back and understand why you opened your businesses and continue to go on that route. So Vic, I'm going to hand it over to you to get started. Last thing, we want this as engaging as possible. So if you have any commentary, you have any thoughts, you want to tell us certain things that we're going to be asking you throughout, there's a chat and Q&A at the bottom. So just make sure you push it through and we'll be happy to answer that and engage with you. All right.
Thanks, Amber.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate the introduction. And I want to talk to all you guys out there first, and gals. This is your webinar. So we're going to be talking about a purple cow. You may have heard about it. You may not have. But we're going to get started with helping you find out what your purple cow is. So first and foremost, the number one thing in all of my sessions is this: ask questions. There are no stupid questions other than the one that didn't get asked. So utilize the chat feature to submit your questions, and we'll do everything we can to get them answered along the way. If we don't get them answered, we'll answer them afterwards. So a couple of quotes. Seth Godin said, "In a crowded marketplace, fitting in is failing. In a busy marketplace, not standing out is the same as being invisible." Henry Ford also said, "Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right." So as we're going through this and you go, "I can't find my purple cow," you're right. You're not going to be able to find it. But if you go more positive, "I will be able to find my purple cow," you will be able to do it. All right, so let's get started. The story of the purple cow. Simple country drive. You decide to take your vehicle out, your favorite one, for a nice country drive. You pass cow field after cow field. You see black cows, you see brown cows, you see blue cows. Well, not blue cow yet, but you see spotted cows. You moo. You wave. And pretty soon you get bored seeing so many cows until you see this. There's a purple cow standing on the edge of the herd. So my question for you is, what would you normally do if you saw a purple cow in the middle of this cow field? Well, you'd stop. You might take a selfie with it. You're for certain going to take a picture of it. You're going to post it on Facebook, Instagram. You're going to send the picture to your friends. You're going to call everyone, and you might even call a newscaster.
I would definitely do all those things. I do have a question for you. Do you drive by cows and moo? You did say that. You do?
I do like moo. I wave. You know. We have cow weather, so if the cow's laying under the tree, we know it's not going to rain.
Now we know what you do.
Yeah, I do. I do. And one of those was recorded when I did a video for this a while ago.
That's great. I'll make sure to send that in the replay and the recording email afterwards.
All right.
Everyone can get
You want me to
access to
start
that.
out? Moo.
Yeah, please.
So here's the point of your purple cow. Purple cow gets people talking. Go back to the field. Purple cow's there. You're going to start talking about it. Customers and employees are talking about you. The purple cow gets them talking very positively about you. It creates a buzz. It's what's remarkable about you. Because this purple cow, he was remarkable, right? So Amber, you remembered when the original iPhone was introduced in 2007?
Yeah. It was like what, $800? What was it?
Yeah.
I don't even know, or was it more? It was
$799.
a lot more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I bought the first one of the first ones the day after. There was such a buzz about this thing prior to it coming out into the marketplace that one guy in New York City wanted to be the very first owner of this iPhone. He waited 5 days outside in New York City to be the first one. Now, this is an example of a purple cow. At that time, it was known throughout the industry that we had flip phones. They were pretty darn boring. And this thing, boy, it was a computer in your pocket. On top of that, it had 5,000 songs in your pocket. So another purple cow might be this Bugatti Veyron. So besides its design style, this thing does 254 miles an hour.
And
Now,
we talked about this. How many are out on the streets?
This one, Grand Sport Vitesse, only 92 of these were produced. But the Veyron's been produced for a while. It's about a $2 to $3 million ride. So here's the question I'm going to ask everyone who's listening, and you, if you had this Bugatti Veyron come into your neighborhood, what would you do, Amber?
I would stop and take a picture and show my son, because he talks about Bugattis all the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is rare. It's like it would create a buzz in your neighborhood. Now, Elon Musk by himself is a purple cow because he's in the news all the time. But when Tesla first came out, it was the first mass-produced EV. People waited months, perhaps a year, to get on the waiting list to get their car. Now everybody's in the game.
You're still waiting. A lot of people are still waiting. John
still waiting.
Said,
exactly.
John Firm said that's not a truck. It's not a truck. Talking about the Bugatti, I agree with you, John. I like a truck, but there you go.
Well, so we talk about purple cow till Tesla decided to get some press. So this is what's interesting is this is his personal Tesla Roadster. He launched it on top of his Falcon rocket. It's on its way to Mars right now.
Yeah.
And the thing is still playing Space Oddity. Now, what's interesting is there is a website dedicated to tracking where this thing is right now. Now, I would say that is a pretty darn strong purple cow. Yeah. So I want you to consider this. Customers, employees, new recruits have one really thing in common. They have a choice. They have a choice if they're going to bring their car to you. They have a choice if they want to work for you and stay employed with you. And new recruits, we know that there are not that many new recruits out there today. So we've got to have a pretty strong purple cow to get people talking about what it is. And why should we come to work for you? I know John Firm, I know his training. His team sings his praises. Good job, John. I want to compliment him.
I think Craig here has good jokes, so we should compliment him on his good jokes.
I haven't heard one of them, so I can't judge it or not, but I'm sure it's good.
Let me tell you. Hey, we have one. What's a ghost's favorite car?
No idea.
A Bugatti.
Oh, that's a good one.
There you go.
It's about atmosphere. So you just nailed something. It's about the atmosphere. What is it that draws the people to work for you? Money is what makes the world go round. But when people come to work for you, they come for the atmosphere, they come for the culture. So I want you guys all think about, why should someone in this group come to work for you, come to patronize you, decide to stay with you? It goes back to, what are people saying about you and your shop? And remember, remarkable is really only one thing, something worthy of attention, and that it's striking. Now, when that Falcon 5 rocket went up with Starman on top of it in the Tesla Roadster, it's interesting. It got people talking, and it got people interested in Tesla cars. Just it created that buzz. So there's another thing too. The top 5 reasons people would leave their company. I'm only going to touch on 3 of those. Number one reason people leave the company they're working for is culture. 62%. And right behind that is poor management and salary. So remember, you want a purple cow for each of these: employees, customers, and community. So begin to ask yourself, what is your purple cow? Start thinking about that. Start writing them down. Have a sheet of paper, and write down customer. What's my purple cow for my customer? Why are they choosing me? If you want to know why your employees work for you, ask them. Amber, I had a recent coaching call with a fellow out in Idaho Falls, and we were in the middle of our session, and Josh walked in, and Kevin and I were talking about his purple cow and attracting people. And Josh is his manager, and he's been with him a long time. So I decided to ask Josh. I said, Josh, I want to ask you a question. I said, why do you work for Kevin? And what he said brought Kevin to tears. He goes, because I really enjoy working around somebody who appreciates me and appreciates what I do. And I asked him, I said, where does money stand on the list? He goes, number 7 in the list of reasons I work here. And so it's not always about the money. It's about the mental well-being. Do you have work? Is it fun? Is there purpose? So don't be stuck in one thing.
Yeah, I think that brings a great point, right? When we think about that, you and I have been talking about this subject for a few weeks now.
Right.
And it's really nice to step back and be able to rethink what your purple cow is. Why am I working at AutoLeap? And from the start, I've said it's the people, and I've said it's the product. The product speaks for itself, but if the people aren't there, it's not going to show for it, right? And I think it's so cool to be able to have your employees tell you that. I mean, what an awesome compliment.
Right.
It's really cool.
It's huge. Well, what's really good though is it helps you know why they're really staying.
Yeah.
Because you might think it's for one reason, and it's really another. And when you find that if you find that that's what they all value, then you need to begin to advertise that.
Yeah.
Family. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, you're in. Yeah, you're first. Ladies first.
Okay, you're sweet. I was just gonna say, John mentioned he believes that employees today look at money at the bottom of their list, and I would have to completely agree. I think there's 2 things that go into that. One, I think whether COVID, right? I think COVID gave us a shock to our system, all of us, wherever we were in our lives. I think it was one of those substantial things, whether good or bad, that allowed us to sit back and pause and reevaluate things, right? Like what I want with my life, what I want with my job and my career and all of those things. And I think too, from a money standpoint, if there is good culture, money would definitely be at the bottom, right? If you're being appreciative, those things, money can be looked past, right? Do I have, time with my family? Do I have flexibility on my PTO? All of these things, like it collates into the reasoning why you work where you work.
Right. And you and I have talked about the value of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for shop owners that are in this session, if you've got a 5-day work week instead of a 6, that is a purple cow. Because that time that your employees have with their family is time that they can never get back. So if you protected a Saturday, then that is one additional Saturday they get to spend with their family.
Yeah.
You can always make more money. You can't make more time.
Well, you definitely pulse checked me on the Christmas thing, right?
Right.
You only have X amount of Christmases left or birthdays. And it was just kind of like, wow, or holidays, whatever holiday you share with your family, you only have X amount of those left. And it's kind of just a really good reality.
And that's what I like about the I'll call the younger generation coming in. The people entering the workforce who have been in it for a while. They're more interested in purpose. The baby boomer generation was about making money, being successful, to the point where we lost sight of what's really important to us.
Mm.
And I remember in my early days as a shop owner, I'll never forget when I got a call on Christmas morning. Marley and I are unwrapping gifts. I got a call Christmas morning, and a really good customer of mine asked me to come over and charge his vehicle with R12 so he could go on vacation. And I did. That was my second year in business. To say I use that now as what not to do. I share that with it. You have to protect your time with your family. You have to protect your time in general, because you've only got a finite amount of it.
I do. I think that's, and I think with anything, it continues to evolve and it shifts, right? I mean, your purple cow, we're going to talk about this later, is not always going to be what your purple cow is in a year or even 3 months from now. New people come in, new processes are in place. You just learn, the economy changes, right? So you have to be able to evolve with it.
Right.
And yeah.
Well, and that's true. The purple cow will always be evolving. It's just like, if you think about this purple cow in your bottom right-hand corner of your screen, if there really was a purple cow, when it was born as a calf, it was small. It continued to grow until it eventually went either out to pasture or out to the slaughterhouse.
And we know every time you pass that purple cow, you moo.
Exactly. Exactly.
I think this actually might be a perfect time. I'm going to run a poll, our first poll, if you're okay with it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to launch that, and it's, do you know what your purple cow is? So I'm going to give you guys a few minutes, not minutes, few seconds. We're on a time crunch here. So, and if you are responding yes, again, we mentioned we want you to engage with us. So if you're responding yes, or even maybe, put that in the chat function. Let us know what your purple cow is and why you think it is that. So I'm going to give it a few more seconds. We've got about half of the group who's participated, so I really want more to participate. Come on, guys.
Yeah, come on. We want 75% to 100% participation.
We're almost there. We're at 66%. Come on. Come on. Yeah, it's funny, and I'm not going to talk too much about AutoLeap, but you consistently hear, I've been here for, almost a year now. And over the time, my purple cow has always been the same. It's the people, right? The product speaks for itself. But it's interesting when you talk to people and they're like, money is not the object. It's the functionality. It's that you're continuously evolving, all of those things. And so it's really interesting when we talk about time and money, how much we think when we go out, it's going to be money, and it's actually just not.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to run this. We've got about 71% of people have said that they do know their purple cow, 7% maybe, and 21% no. So I would urge all of those that have said no. I hope this helps kind of get those juices flowing, and you walk away kind of with something new to think about in your daily jobs. I love this. Do you see some of these? Saturdays are time off.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see the chat part. No, I don't have the chat part. But
Saturdays are days off, so they can spend time with their employees.
Excellent.
Same thing, not open Saturdays. My boys are treated with total respect. And that is more priceless than $1. Absolutely. Absolutely. 100% customer satisfaction. And we're the only shop in our area open on Saturdays. Purple cow for our customers, not employees. Hey, that's okay. That's, I'm sure you do a lot of other things for your employees, Brandy.
I like the 410s there too. Yeah, 410, four 10-hour days.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a real good one.
Yeah, keep them coming, guys, so that other people on the phone can get ideas.
Yeah. Thank you guys for participating. And Amber, if you don't mind, I'm going to utilize you guys in your space. You're in the shop management system space. There's a lot of competitors out there.
Yeah.
And if a shop owner were to think about this from the standpoint of what does a customer see, how does a customer see their business, it's kind of the same thing. All shop management systems do the same thing. They write work orders, they have DVI, and they might do it a little bit differently. But you guys have your purple cow is your people. And that's what helps you guys stand out amongst this crowd.
Mhm.
So
Well,
we're
thank
going
you
to
for
look.
that. I appreciate
You're
that.
very welcome. You're very welcome. I had the opportunity to speak with, with one of your teammate members, and he was a blast to talk to. And he echoed what you said about people.
Yeah, well, I will also say he took the conversation with you, and he had a conversation with our internal team so that they could start thinking about that. So
Excellent. Yeah. And that's a good point. If you start talking with your team and owners and managers who's ever here, the purple cow is not just your responsibility. Engage your team. Was it Jason that I spoke with up at your Ryan, sorry.
Yeah.
Spoke with Ryan, and I asked him, I kind of put him on the spot. I said, what's your purple cow? And it took him a little bit, and he came back with our people. And so you can ask your team, what do you guys think our purple cow is? Once you go through this and listen to this, remember, just something worthy of notice. So we're going to look at a few shops and we're going to compare them. This is definitely not a purple cow. This is a group of shops. This is in Queens, New York. And if you look at it from the standpoint of what not to do, they have everything what not to do. Dirt yard, the customer standing out in the middle of the lot. If somebody drives by them, can you imagine what that water splash would be like?
No.
No. So,
I don't want to.
No, it doesn't communicate that the great work's going to get done there. The technicians are going to care. It's going to be a great experience. It communicates a lot of the wrong things to do. So it's really not a wonderful customer experience. But I'm going to roll through some of the top shops in the United States. Take a look at these beautiful looking shops. What do they all have in common? They've got bays, they've got doors. They're nice looking. This one's in the Northeast. You can see from the salt on the road. And, this one's in Vegas. Beautiful shops. So to an extent, how do the customers see them? In the customer's mind, we all do the same thing. Every single one of us does the same thing. If you all have a really nice looking building, what's going to set you apart from everybody else? The shop all has a building, doors, technicians, support staff, service advisors. So to an extent, you're all, I hate to say it like that, in their mind, they're all the same. Here's what I found with my customers. That's what they thought. All the customers, all shops are alike. And because I was asking, why do you guys come do business with it? And they articulated, it's the way you greet us on the phone. It's when we show up to your shop, you either greet us on the service drive or open the door for us when we come to the door. You walk us up to the counter. You introduce us to your technicians. Now, here's a question that I'd like shop owners to think about. When's the last time you took one of your customers on a tour through your shop and through the way, just introduce them to the technician that's working on the vehicle?
That's a good one.
I had one technician. He was great, Lonnie. He was an immigrant from Philippines. And it was neat because a year before he had gone through and he had gotten his citizenship, and I went to his citizenship ceremony. And so when I went through it, I was introducing, to one of the customers, and I said, this is Lonnie. He's a tech working on a vehicle. Now, most techs don't like talking to customers, so I kind of talk for him. And I said, Lonnie here just got a citizenship. And they're like, really? Oh, that's really cool. And it created a connection, not just the customer to the technician, but the technician saw that the vehicle was attached to a person. And it created a very personal experience. So Lonnie wasn't just fixing the water leak on his vehicle. He was actually preparing that transportation for that customer. So
yeah, there's so many things you can do, right? Like, do you vacuum the car out? Do you walk when it's raining? Do you have umbrellas for your customers?
Right.
It's just kind of, instead of just meeting expectations, are you exceeding them, and how are you doing that? And are you being intentional with it?
And what's that expectation? And I'll talk to one thing, and I know most of the folks who are here probably don't do this, but some shops, they leave their protective material on the customer's vehicles where they put the steering wheel covers and the seat cover and the floor mat. And in the mind of the customer, they see it and they appreciate it, but they got to touch it and throw it away. It's okay to leave it, but when you walk them onto the vehicle, take it off, then throw it away for them. Make that, make that last experience that you have with them a good experience.
I think you and I talked about one too. What was it? When a tech gets in the car and they move the seat from where
Right.
it was, right? Leaving
Right.
a nice note like, hey, we think we put it right back where it was, but we're not
Right.
exactly sure.
Yeah,
It's just something that's just a nice little note.
exactly. And if you convey that to them, you've not left anything unspoken, because in the
Yeah.
absence of communication, people tend to think the worst.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
and now with management's, systems, communication, right? You have access to being able to communicate with your customers more clearly.
right.
And so if that's something that you've never done before, that can be your purple cow, right?
Right.
Are you more intentional about your communication and what you're communicating and the touch points along the way?
And, you just nailed a good point. I have a client in another city up in the Northeast, and we were talking about them getting involved with a networking group. And they didn't see the value of it until we started talking about the fact that you're demystifying the auto repair business. And they began to look at their business a little bit differently. And they went from the DVI and the nonverbal communication, the text messages, and the feedback they began to get from their customers was, we come to you because we value your communication.
Mm-hmm.
You let us know when the vehicle is going to be done. If something's up, you call us. If you don't know something, you let us know. Over communicating, you will never go wrong over communicating.
No.
You don't want to be like that. The shop that I know here in Texas, who I know somebody had their vehicle in for service. They didn't hear from them for 2 weeks.
Mm.
And that wasn't a good customer experience.
Yikes.
And
Yeah.
and their spouse told them, I would never take that vehicle back there again, even though they trust them. So focus on the communication. That again goes back to what's with your customer. So I want to touch on one purple cow story. I was giving this class in San Antonio, and I challenged all the service advisors there. I said, what is your purple cow? And a lot of them struggled. A couple of them came back with it. Like here, we had about half of them knew what they were. And Jason, he was like, I really want to know what my purple cow is. And we chatted for a bit. Well, on the drive home the next day, I get a phone call from him. And he goes, Mr. Vic, he goes, I know what my purple cow is. And he was so excited about it. And I said, what is it? He goes, our customers really value when I walk them out to the car and open the door for them. And it's something so simple. And so purple cows don't have to be expensive.
Yeah.
It's just something.
Yeah, when you think about marketing, right? The 5 P's of marketing, and it's just, we always go to spending money and all of that, and digital marketing, all of those things, and it's just, it doesn't have to always be that way.
No.
Yes, those things are good. Don't get me wrong. There's a time and a place for it, but there is a time and a place for what you're doing in your shop today.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, in our old pastor used to say, despise not small beginnings. So don't despise the small things. It doesn't have to be a big deal. It's just got to be something that the customer values. And yeah, because we can easily chase the shiny things.
Yeah.
As a former shop owner, I know when something new would come on the market, it was like the latest, greatest thing. And we'd get involved with it and spend money, and it was a waste of money.
Yeah.
Just like, football season's upon us.
Roll Tide.
And I'm a go Bills.
I'm in Georgia, so we're SEC.
Okay.
We're all about it.
Yeah. The South, of course, the South is all college. I'm in Conroe, Texas, Buffalo, New York born. So I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. Where the heck was I going with that? I forget where the heck I was going with that.
I don't know. I'm sorry. Football season's upon us. Money, I don't know.
Football season's upon us. It's the fundamentals. Whenever they start the beginning of the season, they're always blocking and tackling. Don't ignore the fundamentals. And if focus on those fundamentals and build upon that. But I want to talk about the USP trap.
And
so
what does USP stand for?
Unique selling proposition. So it's one of those, it's an element that I will challenge all of my, my coaching clients is like, what is unique about you? Essentially, what's your purple cow, without going through the whole thing. And so your unique selling proposition is in your mind. If it's, well, we fixed it right the first time. Well, you got a shuttle service, 2-year, 24,000 mile warranty, and ASE certified techs. I would say, doesn't everybody else? So what's really unique about that? So, I share with you about, when I had my shop, our focus way before it was ever industry leading was to take care of our lady customers. When, my mom, my dad passed when I was real young. I watched mom struggle with this kind of, getting service. And so that became the reason I got into this business. It was to take care of our lady customers. Well, we became known for taking care of our customers, and ladies would bring ladies in and go, these people will take care of you.
Mm.
Money was never, on top of the list. It was, what's wrong with my vehicle? When am I going to get it back? I got kids to pick up. We were in the transportation solution business. So one of our purple cows was we were a female friendly shop. And I kind of articulated it like this, Amber. Coming to get auto repair at Vic's was no more difficult than going to the store and buying a dozen eggs and a gallon of milk.
Mhm.
And if you can do that, really, with your male customers too, it makes it easy. The less friction, the better.
Yeah. I think we had a comment.
Okay.
Everyone seems to forget that your most expensive asset, are your employees.
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
Completely agree. I do not see a lot of owners or managers throwing expensive equipment around. So why would we do it to our staff? Not really that hard to figure out. No, I completely agree. I think employees, if you're not going to take care of your employees, they're not going to take care of the company and the business, and they're not going to want to show up. They're not going to create the culture that you're hoping to cultivate.
Right.
There's so many things that go into it. They're not going to care for your customers like you want them to care for them, because it goes back to treat everyone like you want to be treated.
Well, yeah.
Age-old rule.
Right. And what's interesting about that too is if you don't treat your employees well, what does it really communicate about you?
Oh, absolutely.
And if you aren't treating your employees well, then they leave. You need to take a look in the mirror. I hate to be that direct, but
you can be direct. I think we need a little bit more direct.
Yeah. Well, that, it's, the problem, and the problem in any shop, it starts with the guy looking back in the mirror, or gal. Yeah. And for me, I'm from Buffalo. So when I say guys, I mean, guys and girls.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but you take care of your employees. That is the number one thing. And you'll see, I hit customers first, but that's not the most important thing.
Right.
So, I'm going to kind of drill into this now part. So as the owner, as you're looking for the purple cow, what I want you to think about is, why did you get into this business? What caused you to start or purchase your repair shop? Because I know this, if you lose sight of that, that daily drive to show up, the emotions that tax you, that cause you to, when you put, Amber, I share this with you. I put my key in the door to lock it at night, and inside I'm like, I'm not coming back. I'm done. And, the frustrations can really, take over, and you become a fireman versus process driven.
Yeah. Well, all of that, right? Your mood follows action, right? So how you felt when you were putting that key in the door, I'm not going to come back, most definitely had a trickle effect in the days to come, and how you interacted and all of that.
It really did. It did. And then, I had to get a hold of it, and I really endeavored at the end of the day to try and make sure I process it all by the next day, but it's not always the case. But you have to figure out what it is. And I'll be honest with you, the bulk of problems, almost all the problems in my shop were me. And, now I share with you how I got started. I share with you, for the first 15 years, I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
I might have been in business for, 30 years as a shop owner, but for the first 15, I wasn't profitable, made a lot of mistakes. Thing is, I learned a lot along the way, and I go back to those lessons. I have no problem being transparent and sharing them.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you can learn.
Well, and I think, I've come from multiple different industries, and it's gotten me to this industry. And I will say, there's a lot of rap about, the auto repair and, the dishonesty, but I will actually say that this is probably the most honest industry that I've ever worked in.
Right.
And the fact that you'll find more owners and technicians being able to humble themselves and kind of step back and be like, here's what I'm experiencing. And the community that you guys have created and that we're in is so cool to just be like, hey, this is the crap I'm walking through. I don't know how to get through it. And that's what's beautiful about this community. You can learn from other people, and
Right.
it's, setting your ego down and just, here's what I've got. Help me grow my business. Help me move forward.
Well, and that's the thing, folks who've been trained and who work with a coaching organization will tell you this. And that's what happened with me, was until I submitted myself to having someone over me and giving me insight into what I needed to change. I didn't begin to change, but I had to submit myself. And as an owner, that's sometimes not easy, because you're going, I got something wrong. Well, here's a newsflash. Everybody else knows there's something wrong before you do.
Mm.
But you're right on, the humility is great. And it is one of the most transparent businesses. And what I love about DVI is it makes it even more transparent.
Yeah. I was going to read. There's a few, so I'm just going to, so Jenna's asked for some techniques on communication, like certain times to reach out. How do you get your team to remember to reach out at certain points? I will say some of that is automated. So with systems now, you can make those things automated, Jenna, but I would love for other people to kind of give some of their feedback and techniques. So when you're busy with quotes and stuff during the day, how do you remember to reach back out?
I can help with that. Is we instituted at our shop, we had 10 o'clock in the morning phone calls and 2 o'clock in the morning phone calls. So, we endeavored to make certain by 10 o'clock, all of our estimates were processed, generated, and we called the customer for approval. And then we had the 2 o'clock period. The 2 o'clock, we put that in place so that the service advisors would then call the customers, whether A, where the status was, it was going to be complete, B, something's up and we needed to discuss it, or C, we haven't gotten to it yet. It's work, but that over communication, it becomes a process, and it just took a number of times of talking to the team, verifying that they're doing it, and training them on the benefits of communication. And I'll share this particular phrase, and I already shared it once. In the absence of communication, we think the worst. If the customer's not hearing from us, and it takes too long to get back with them, they may already be out looking for another car. It's happened. It happened to us. Customer. Well, I figured you guys were taking so long because it was a major amount of work, and so I decided just to trade my vehicle in. So, but Jenna, just establishing a process for that.
Yeah, John said he calls 2 hours before closing.
There you go.
Every customer that has a car on the lot, they call.
Yep. That's great. Great job, John. Establishing a process. It's just establish the process and stick to it. So moving on into search of your purple cow, it's day to day, but should we become part of something bigger than ourselves? That's an absolutely, because how do we get people talking about us? Well, we connect with the community, and it's work, but it's fun. So maybe some thought starters would be, are you working with the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, local food bank, community outreach programs? Amber, you and I talked about the year end. At the year end, and I know shop owners will be nodding their head when I say this. At the year end in November, we always get phone calls about somebody wanting us to donate money for a food basket. And that can be hard to say no. But if you already have some kind of outreach to them, to your community, all you gotta say is my benevolence budget's taken up. And by being involved, you connect with people.
Yeah.
And the way we were involved, we had a class, once a month for the women's shelter. And what was cool is everyone, whether they were the porter or whether they were the service advisor that was going to train the class, had involvement, because the porter and the technicians, they would make sure the shop was ready before the shop closed. They'd head home, and then the service advisor and myself would stay, and we would host them, and we would put on this class on how to maintain your vehicle, because they're eventually going to go back out into the workplace. So it's getting them ready in a safe environment. We work with another leadership organization, and there were bike donations for the less fortunate kids. And so we were the drop spot for that.
Wow.
what was cool was the technicians would bring the bring the bike in, check it out, see if it was A, it needed to be scrapped, or B, if it needed anything, or C, just cleaned up and ready to go.
Mm.
And so everyone had a hand in that. And what was really wild is when they gave all these away, we were present for it. And, it wasn't about getting the business from that. It was about getting people to know, what do we do in the community? Are people talking about what you do for the community?
Mm. We had one of our customers, they actually allow a technical college that's near them come and run a class in their shop, and they provide the food and all of that stuff. But that way they can see a shop and kind of walk through and do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty cool thing. And all of these things, you could just take one of these. You don't have to, take all of these ideas and implement them all. It's just like, take one and work it and try it. And if that doesn't work, try something else.
Right. And things that resonate. Once a year, we'd have the students from the local technical high school come in, and they would be 40 of them. And we'd stand up in the middle of them and take their question and answer. They've never been to a shop before, and they were looking to get into the industry. So that was really, really cool. So my favorite thing, I'm going to go to this basketball. This is my favorite keepsake, Amber. And if you look at this basketball, it's 35-3.
Yep.
But take a look, it's Lady Cavaliers. So it's Lady Cavs. We went and sponsored the ladies' high school basketball team. And it wasn't a big deal. All we did was we bought the sodas for the boosters to sell. We went to the games. They started introducing us at halftime. At the sodas all had our Vic Tarasik Automotive label on them. We got to know the parents. And here's what's really wild about this basketball. All the girls signed it, and they brought it up to the shop, presented it to us. And when I sold my shop, I made certain that this guy came with me. It was like that.
See it in the background there.
Yeah. I'm very proud of it. It's a very warm time. And we did that. Oh gosh, that was 10 years ago. We got to know a lot of the people up there, the teachers, and we became a resource, whether it was we did the work on their vehicle or not, but we became a resource in the community, and other people began to talk about us. So that was kind of one of our purple cows.
That's really cool.
Okay, so let's get into recruiting, because to me, this is kind of the meat on the bone. If you were to ask yourself this question, why would I work for you? Or if I were to ask you, why would I work for you as a master technician? What would you say? Because work environment is the number one draw. What's your culture? Are you up to date technically? The new hire is looking for a clean, drama-free workplace. They want to be busy with the work of car repair. Because the guys who are and gals that are here, the technician side of it, as a technician, you want to fix a vehicle. You do not want to be involved with the politics of business. The purpose of there's this really cool thing when you fix a vehicle and it goes down the road, it's so fulfilling. So if you have a busy shop, it's clean and technically adept, and you got a great culture, you're going to be a draw for people. You're really looking to create this team environment.
I think that goes right. We talked about employees, and I'm going to kind of tie this into a comment we just got. I think when you focus on your employees and you allow that to be your story, right? What if that's your purple cow, right? And so James just said the About Us section of our repair shop website we develop are always in the top 10 pages that people read, because it's critical to share your purple cow story, right? Your purple cow. And that can be in your employees, right? When you're sharing about your employees, I want to come there. I want to bring my car to you, because I know not only do you take care of them, but they're going to take care of my car. It all revolves around your employees. And just being honest with your story. I think that's so cool. James, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, James, thanks for that. Well, what's cool about that, and you see that, Amber, is it makes it more personal. It's not so transactional. It's about them.
Yeah.
We had bios on our wall, and we had a picture of the employee and a little bit of their background, what they liked, and you find customers gravitate towards it. I had mine up there with I was from Buffalo, New York, and at that time the bills were terrible, And I was a Bills fan, and I had people walk up to me. It's like, "You're from Buffalo, huh?" Like, "I'm so sorry about that." The joke, and they're like, and they go, "I'm from Buffalo too." Now, what did it do? It connected a bridge.
Yeah.
So when you introduce your employees in the website, it does make it really personal. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, I will also say too, when you think about like just like making things personal, right? I remember when we bought the house 3 years ago, right?
Mhm.
And I was switching my auto and my home insurance together. And I actually had, which I love USAA, but we had USAA auto insurance, which is like great insurance.
Right.
Well, the guy that I was going to for my house insurance looked at my car insurance, right? He wanted to bundle both of them and make more money. Let's just be honest, fair.
Yep.
But anyways, he said, he walked me through the insurance that he was going to give us. And he was like, honestly, I wouldn't put my daughter who has my grandchildren in your car.
Yep.
And to me, I'm a mom with kids. And I look at that. I don't know what the heck I'm looking at in the insurance. Like, this is your expertise. Tell me.
Right.
And I will tell you, I am a customer for life, because not nearly a year after that, I went out for a run and I got hit by a car while I was running. And on that insurance, he put something called individual uninsured liability. And had he not done that, and had he not connected on a personal level with me, I would be completely
Wow.
blindsided, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that insurance is what carried me, because the lady, it was a hit and run. So there's so many silver linings to all of this,
Right.
to really get you thinking about what your purple cow is.
Exactly. Yeah. They earn, like you said, you're a customer for life.
Oh, 100%.
He earned your loyalty. And, and if any of the people that are out there want to read a really good book that's automotive related, it's called Customers for Life by Sewell. So,
Yeah.
Sewell's got a big dealership nationwide. And, John, you'll know about them up in, they got their startup in Dallas for certain. And they have this amazing culture.
Mm.
And so let's look at these top 8 reasons. This is a survey that why employees stay. And if you look at the top 5, culture, purpose, recognition, appreciation, and you keep going down the list, you don't see money.
Mm.
They're treated fairly. They've got a mentor that's alongside them. So, part about having a mentor is growth experience. You shorten the window, and you make that person more productive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mentorship is huge.
It is huge.
Especially in this industry, when you talk about technicians and the technician shortage, right? Making sure that people have the resources that they need, no matter their role, whether a technician, service advisor, at the front desk, whatever it is, in any aspect of your life, mentorship is so
Agreed.
important.
One of the best things you can do for anyone on your onboarding is to walk them through it, is to mentor them and have somebody guide them through the process.
Mm-hmm.
The worst thing you can do is give them a telephone and put them in front of a shop management system and say, "Here you go." You need to mentor and train them, and you'll make them more productive on day one, and it'll help to help keep them in place. You'll help your employee retention.
And it cultivates your culture, right? Like,
exactly.
It's that social proof of who you are, right? Allowing your employees to do that.
All right, so we'll get down. As we wrap up, I always bring in action items. So these are your action items. So take a look at your customers and employees. Look at their shop through their eyes. What are they seeing, and what makes you different? What's your differentiator? And knowing your audience will help you define your purple cow, and build something that's remarkable. You've got communities, customers, and the most important thing is you've got your team. Your team is what's going to make all this happen.
Mm-hmm.
We hear that phrase, teamwork makes the dream work, and it really does. It
I
really
say that
does.
to my kids all the time.
Yep.
All the time.
Well, and earlier you said too, try things. And this is quote is from James Clear, great guy on habits. And he put this quote out: "It's okay to make mistakes, just don't make them permanent."
Mm-hmm.
And as John Maxwell put it, it's okay to fail, but fail forward. Because if you fail forward, you're 6 feet closer to your destination.
I love that.
And if you're not failing, you're not growing. You're not pushing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I interrupted you. Well, I was going to say, one questions, we talked about this too, when we talk about failure, it's such a hard thing in our society, right? Like we want to get to the next level. We want to do
Right.
this thing. We want to achieve this. We want to make this money. We want to buy this house. We want to have 7 different shops, you know? I heard this podcast and it was so eye-opening, right? So when my kids sit down for dinner, we ask, how was school? And you get that, fine, good. Okay, what'd you do? I don't know, nothing. So we've started asking, what's one thing you failed at today?
Yeah.
Because that's the only way they can accept failure, make failure okay. And even for us as adults in our careers, you know, and what we're doing, I still, when I do something or I think I've done something wrong, shit, it takes me, sorry for my language, a few days to get over it. But as long as you said, like, you're learning from it, what did you do? And how do we move forward? That's with customer and engagement and an interaction. Like, you're not going to be perfect, period.
No, it's not. It becomes a lesson, and it's only, here's the thing, Amber, it's only a costly lesson if you don't learn from it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, we've all had people break stuff out in our shop, and it's, and my, way we did things at our shop is if they broke it, was intentional. Well, if it wasn't, it was different, but typically it's unintentional. And then we ask the question, what can we learn from this? Mistakes and everything, and I will tell you, when we coach, I will draw my bulk of learning experiences come from my failures and big mistakes.
Heck yeah.
And so, it's okay to fail. So last thing, and we talked about at the beginning, the iPhone. When the iPhone came out, it blazed trails. Today, it is just another touchscreen phone. Keep your Purple Cow fresh. It's really important that you don't just put one in place and ignore it. This is not a set it and forget it kind of thing. It's always looking to adapt. If you look at when people started doing loaner cars, it was only a small percentage of shop. Now everybody's doing loaner cars. Shuttle services, all those the USP trap. What was in vogue goes out of vogue pretty quick. It's like style, same thing.
It is. I will say, you said it's just an iPhone, but I will say it's not an Android. I do not know how to work an Android. I may have just ruffled a lot of feathers there, but it's not an Android.
No, it's not I'm an iPhone person. I'm on a Mac right now, so I'm yeah. Once you go Mac, you'll never go back.
Okay, well, and you and I had this conversation. I used Mac back in college, and so the Mac I had is so outdated, and I tried to use it when I first started working at AutoLeap, and I was like, oh my God, I am gonna burn this thing. And somebody was like, no, the new Macs are really great, but it's not an Android, and I can see that I ruffled some feathers here. So
that's okay. Don't take it personal. Don't take it personal.
Nothing.
And so then my last thing, questions, pop them in the chat. What do we got? Do we have anything?
We don't have anything, but I love we have a lot of engagement, which I love seeing. And I hate that we can't get more faces on just a regular Zoom so that we can interact. But
Did we have another poll? Was this the only poll we did?
Oh, we did have another poll, but so we kind of, let's do this. What's important to your customers? What is more important to your customers? So it goes back to time and money, or both. So this all goes into knowing your customers, right? And so, I like this.
I like where this is going.
Can you see this?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I'll push it in a second.
It's really interesting.
I would love to know what some people's purple cows are. So some people, we're talking more employees earlier, Jenna, about like time off. They work 5 days a week. The other ones were they worked on Saturdays. They're the only shop that worked on Saturdays. So for their customers, that was a given plus. Okay, so I'm going to run this, although we only have 54% engagement. So where are all you at today? Creating value, enhancing lives. Yeah. All right. I think we're staying at 54%. So this is super cool. I'm going to share that. I mean, not many people did it, but that's okay. Nobody selected money on their own. So I think that solidifies everything that we said. Money and time were an answer. And I think that's anything with life, right? It fluctuates and it depends on the circumstances, right? I mean, if I'm talking as an employee, like if I'm not happy, of course, money is going to be something that I'm going to go for to make me happy or make me think it's going to make me happy, right? There's so many ways to look at it. So You guys will all get this recording. I will also include Vic's email in that. So please feel free to reach out to him. My cow is being in the flow, helping others and serving to succeed. I love that.
Yeah, wonderful.
Love that. Good job. And I love your engagement, John. Thank you. I appreciate it. Again, we're sending this out. I am going to close this out and a survey will pop up. So please do take it. I do read every single response that you guys push. I also not only try to create the content that you're asking for on a webinar, but I do push that to our internal team. And I share that also with associations that we're memberships of, or, you know, Apex and SEMA and all of those places that ask for content. I share that feedback with them as well, just to keep things relevant, timely, and I bring in awesome people like Vic. So I am honored to like have gotten to know you, and I appreciate your time. And
it's pleasure. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure being here, and pleasure, you know, given the opportunity to share what a purple cow is, and hopefully inspire some folks to find their purple cow.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, we appreciate you. Y'all have a wonderful Thursday, and we'll see you. Oh, next webinar will be September 1st on going multi-store. So make sure you join. Another fun one. So we'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.